Okay.
Okay, I'm going to do the demonstration part first this time, and we'll do the talking after because I want to use some of the papers that are in your packet to talk to you about the nutrition part. I decided since we had a meal, I would demonstrate a really yummy dessert that can be made 3 different ways, depending on what kind of things you might have to do it. Years ago, when my kids were little and we lived in Montana, we used to make on Saturday nights, we would have popcorn and fruit cream. Now what fruit cream is, and I should have taken these out so they'd soften up a little bit, but I didn't, so they're going to be really noisy. Fruit cream is just that. It's nothing but fruit. There's nothing else put in it, except for that one. You'll see why that one is. I'm going to move those or they get wet. So I have in this bag frozen bananas, and I have in this bag frozen pineapple, and in these 2 bags frozen strawberries. The reason my kids loved fruit cream was if we had ice cream, they got a bowl of ice cream. When Mom would make fruit cream, she would make a bowl and we would eat the whole bowl amongst all of us. Because they could go back for seconds because it was nothing but fruit. And they loved that very, 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 very much. Champion juices are amazing. I've never used it to make juice. I've only used it to make fruit cream. Isn't that crazy? But they don't make them anymore. But if you do some research, and I don't know what I did with my paper with all that names on them, because I did research because I wanted to see what I could find. There are several different brands that make what they call macerating juicers. A macerating juicer means it has a blade similar to this that just chews things down really, really fine. If you were making juice with a Champion juicer, there's a plate that you put inside that allows the juice to come out the bottom, and then the pulp comes out the end, and you throw the pulp away. It works good in composting, supposedly. I've never been good at composting, though. But if you put a solid plate on the bottom, none of the juice falls out, and what comes out this end looks like ice cream, like soft serve ice cream. And you can make any flavor you want. We used to do bananas and strawberries a lot. I've discovered I really like bananas and pineapple. It's just out of this world. If you want to use seeded berries, you probably, if you're like my husband, he doesn't like things that are seedy when he eats them. So this one works better for that because it actually chews the seeds up to fairly fine. The others don't. What else can I tell you about this one? This is a brand new one. I haven't even used it yet. I sold mine when I left Alaska, and because it was heavy to ship out and we were trying to cut down on weight, and I thought, oh, I'll get another one when I got out. But then I like fruit cream better than my husband, and I thought, no, I don't need a great big juicer again. So I bought this little gadget, which is called the dessert bullet. I found it at Walmart on the as advertised on TV section, because I had seen it advertised there, and then I saw it and I thought, oh, hey, that works like that does. And I can use it because I want to make little amounts. It's noisy, I will warn you. And now they don't make this one anymore, but they do make ones like it. Amazon has them, Walmart has them. Those run you about $400 now, which is outrageous. I think I paid $200 for the ones that I bought for me and my kids, but that's been quite a few years ago. Yeah, a lot more years ago than I want to think about. So that one is a major investment. Yes?
we have one that's specifically designed for fruit cream.
Mm-hmm.
It's smaller than these.
Okay.
I think we paid $20 or $30.
Nice.
And, works
Do
beautifully.
you know where you found it?
No, but I could take a look at it, see what brand it is, and see if I could look it up.
Okay, that would be great. This one I know only cost me like $20. The ones that I was looking at that are comparable to it now are running about 40. But like I said, I've had this one now 10 years. And that's part of the reason it's gotten kind of noisy, I think. Blenders are great for some, but you're going to end up with something that's much more like soft serve and less like ice cream. Just because when you're doing frozen fruit in them, it doesn't work really well unless you have a Vitamix or a really powerful blender of some sort. The regular little blenders like I used to have when I was younger, they wouldn't have done that.
And even if you have a Vitamix, you probably need to add some milk to it.
Yeah, well, this recipe that I'm going to do for you uses a little bit of water in it, in addition to the fun stuff that's in here. But, so we're going to start with this one. And I define myself in a bowl. No. And that's why I said you needed a spoon.
Are we going to be able to come up and taste? Is that
You're
why?
going to get to taste, so you need a spoon, yes.
Could get a spoon.
Yes.
Still a little bit hard.
You want to taste then? What I found works best when doing these is to alternate your fruit.
I'll have one too.
I wasn't gonna
Don't
bring
pass
Mix
me
it
up.
together. You can put them in the freezer if you have extra leftover. I do that sometimes, so then I just pull them out when I want to eat them. Just let them set a little bit to soften up a little.
Is this recipe in the recipe folder?
You have a recipe in your, actually, this recipe is in the little book.
For us
And it gives you some ideas of,
do we know how many
flavors.
calories in a little small bowl?
None?
you have to look at what
Bananas
is-
and pineapple, high calories.
Yes, bananas though are the basis of most of them because that's where the creamy comes from. The other fruits give you the flavor. You do not want to do this with your bananas that have been left until they're really half rotted, like the ones we would use to make banana bread out of, because the banana flavor overpowers everything else. You just want to freeze some that are nicely ripe. You don't want them green because then there's absolutely no flavor.
I know, I'm gonna go to business now.
So this is banana and pineapple. Now I have done banana and pineapple, and I will do when I have company coming over and I want to do something that's fancy, I will do banana and pineapple or banana and berry, and I will do a chocolate in a bowl and then put the fruit on top. Really yummy. One that we'll have to try with the aquafaba manteca is you use the the bittersweet chocolate chips. I do it with Cool Whip, but we'll have to try it with the aquafaba and see if it works.
Yeah,
To make the chocolatey part that goes underneath.
yeah. It works with like the cocoa whip. If I'm making frosting,
Oh, yeah,
I
that
can
would
do
work.
peanut butter and dark chocolate chips and melt those and then mix it into like the cocoa whip because that's vegan. And it
Mhm.
makes the best frosting ever.
So that would work then with your, okay, so everybody have their spoons? Now remember, you're just sampling and you have to get it to the back.
Yeah, that's where I made my mistake. I should have got a bigger spoon.
Denise, take that and you can just pass the bowl back.
Okay. We're gonna start with you, so you can man the camera.
Thank
I
you.
could have brought napkins too.
That's good. A little bit more.
Now you can adjust your flavor by how much of each fruit you put in. I did probably a little bit more banana than I did,
I can taste the pineapple though, right?
but yeah, the other fruit that you put in is what you taste because the bananas are not, I mean, if you really want the banana flavor in there, you could use some that have gone more ripe than these. These were just nicely ripe, I thought. I went to the store and went, oh yay, no green ones. They had nice ones.
My dad puts yogurt into ice cube tray and pops that out. And my mom will send yogurt cubes down it if they don't.
Oh,
want like
And then mix it with the fruit?
Yeah, instead of doing like a solid banana base.
Mm-hmm. That's a good idea. I used to have a friend who used to run almonds through. She thought it made it creamier. I couldn't figure out why it would make it creamier. So I've never done it that way. But we were always happy with it just the way we did it. So
Would you
that one,
always-
you can see how easy and how nice that one comes out.
Yeah,
You
that's
can
good.
always use frozen, other kinds of frozen fruit
You can
too.
use any kind of frozen fruit.
We
You
have
can
made
even make
it
your
with,
own frozen fruit.
yeah, we have a lot of frozen peaches that we bought a box of peaches and froze them, and every now and then we'll pull out some peaches. Sometimes without the banana even, just
Yeah, if you do
the
it,
peach by itself.
if you do it with the fruit, other fruits just by themselves, it's more like a sorbet. It doesn't, the bananas give it that creaminess that's like an ice cream has. But if a fruit by itself, it's a little more, gosh, you guys left a lot. Okay.
Well, our spoons are only little.
Oh, you have to send it around.
Do you want us to go double?
Double dip, yes.
Okay. So this time, now I warned you, this one's noisy.
We need a little bowl.
We're gonna do bananas and strawberries this one. But just to show you a different flavor and a different machine. And a different consistency that comes out. This is not going to grind it as fine. So it's not going to be quite the same thing texture.
I wish I had thought about it.
And if they were a little more thawed, it wouldn't be coming out quite like this either.
That's a different machine too.
If I had taken the fruit out earlier, it would be a little better.
I think it's
This one likes the fruit not to be quite so
Or should we do an
frozen.
actual bowl?
So,
No, just,
No, one of those is enough.
just scoop them into those little cups
Yeah.
and then we'll use
Do
our
we want an
spoons.
actual?
Yeah,
bowl
we'll
or
use
do
our
cups?
spoons and scoop it with one of those bigger spoons. So
Okay.
we don't wanna stick these back in the bowl.
well, there's more plastic spoons.
Well, we're trying to be conservative.
All right, be conservative.
Oh, okay. If you want more.
This should have been, fruit should have been softened a little bit more.
Is it because the fruit's too frozen? Is it
Yeah.
icy?
This one, that one will take it really frozen. And you saw what it does. This one, because it doesn't have the power, it also doesn't have the macerating blades in it. It just has a little screw blade in it.
Yeah, there's a difference.
So it doesn't
I do.
needs the fruit to be a little bit softer when it goes through it. Like I said, I forgot I was gonna get the, as you know, I'm forgetting everything today.
I'm sorry, I totally skipped you.
I thought I need someone to do it with you, okay? I thought I need someone to do it. Gilman? Gilman? I thought I need someone to do it. Here?
Go ahead, go ahead.
Plus the ladies?
If she insists,
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty good stuff.
Lorraine, did you want some?
No, I'll get some later, thanks.
Okay.
There's no harm, you can eat as much as you want. I know, right?
Now, one other thing is we're gonna have 2 drawings tonight.
Yay.
One for books, and one, since I now have a champion juicer again, I'm gonna give away my bullet to somebody.
I didn't touch anything. It didn't touch anything. It did.
The juice? No.
And I think I should probably have put a few more strawberries in this one, but we'll see what you think. But you can see, when you look at this, see, you can see the little pieces of strawberry and stuff. It hasn't made it quite
So
as
you want me to take it? Okay.
smooth.
And it seems like it's thicker. Is it because it's not creamy?
Partially that and partially just because of how cold the fruit was.
So you don't have to be.
Because that grinds it down finer, it warms up faster.
I just get the. Yeah, I use like powder.
Okay, you guys finally got that one done. Now, this one I've only made once before, but I really liked it, and I hope you do too. I mean, you like chocolate or
Whatever.
It's like real ice cream.
They make it, need a little bit of extra water. Try to be good, if not.
Yeah.
Not touching the spoon.
And you don't have to turn the handle for 15 or 20 minutes to
Yes.
make this ice cream.
And you don't have to wait, you don't have to wait all that time for the ice cream either. Okay, so this one is from Forks Over Knives, if you know who Forks Over Knives is.
Yes.
This is called their Mexican chocolate and ice cream. And it starts with, it has cocoa powder, ancho chili powder, and cinnamon. And then there's gonna be a little bit of vanilla put in there too. But it comes in at a different point. So, I have to follow the recipe on this one, so I have that more than you want. And then this one takes more bananas too.
I just do blueberries.
Since we're really frozen stuff. Yeah, I've tried making them with, those bananas that, oh gosh, I gotta freeze these really fast or they're not gonna throw them away. And unless you really like banana flavored whatever, I don't recommend it.
And that's what you like, yeah, probably put walnuts or pecans on that.
Okay.
He says so big people know.
What's banana cookie?
I like this one better.
Okay, I did that. Okay, let's see how this goes. Better than the last time we did it.
Especially if I don't have the yogurt, I don't know.
The yogurt one is
Unsweetened
good.
almond milk. That gives a little, yeah,
it's-
The yogurt pleasure.
We did just like,
I use the
This is the thing I hate about doing cold things is just the way they let you get down there in the bottom and then they
So,
jam everything up. You can't get anything else down.
Okay.
Thank you.
I go to both.
No, I have
This says to do this later, but I'm gonna do it now.
Oh, yeah. This
The other one's cooperated. Why do you-
they're both good.
Yeah.
Not looking on Pinterest. There's lots of it. No, that sounds good. It's even got nuts on top. I really involved in making this.
You don't know what.
I think we need this other stuff in there.
Thing is
That one?
just freeze your yogurt, the champion, just freeze your yogurt, send it all through.
But what about, like, that's the thing, how do you mix it all in? Do you want to mix the food with yogurt or other ingredients like almond milk or?
Well, once it's through, you can just stir it up.
Stir it.
It's soft and creamy enough, you just stir it up.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what my parents do.
But you know,
And then my dad actually just refills the yogurt containers and just stuffs that when he wants you to get anything for
feel,
frozen.
if you guys,
Something like that.
you go to,
I'm still feeling like a cheat.
like, you could get it. Yeah. My daughter, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's soft and it's creamy.
You don't put stuff.
No, I don't
Just
think
mix it,
where
mix it
it's
up.
not miserable, you know
Yeah.
what I
Yes.
mean?
Yeah.
Because when we eat like bad food, we don't eat a little bit more than we should. And we feel so bad.
I probably. I mean, if you go, like, all the marketing, I've toyed with the idea of getting one.
When in doubt, give it more gas.
I love the flavor of this. So, who's my first person with the spoon? Here, you can just take this in the spatula. Thank you.
Me.
Just gonna take yours.
My English is
Isn't there?
great.
Thank you.
Yeah, take my serving.
Do you not like chocolate?
I can't have chocolate.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
who are you? That's a bummer.
Mix those together. Oh, don't waste it.
So basically, for dessert, when you want something sweet, what's better than fruit, but sometimes you don't feel like just eating a piece of fruit. I mean, you could freeze applesauce, unsweetened applesauce, put a little bit of cinnamon in with it, and run it through either of those, and you would have, with a little banana to make it creamy, and you would have apple pie ice cream. You know. You can put coconut through with your fruit and add coconut flavor to it. There's lots of ways to make it fancier, but it's just something nice, and especially nice in the summertime. When you want something cool. I have even taken my spring form pan. Does everybody know what a spring form pan is?
The bottom comes off.
Yeah, it has a ring that goes around it and you pop the ring off. It's what they make cheesecakes in. Okay. I have made chocolate crumb crust, banana mixed berry, froze it on the top, and served it like you would cheesecake. And it makes what looks like you've spent forever making this wonderful dessert, and it was simple as anything you can think of.
Well, if you want to pay me for it, you just add
The pineapple banana is good with raspberries, fresh raspberries on it.
You can do banana.
Yeah, pineapple, banana, and coconut.
Yeah.
But there are lots of combinations. In your little book, it gives you a bunch of ideas for combinations.
Soak in water.
And in your,
Boiling water over it. And you get the really heavy coconut. flavor.
Frozen cherries would be good too.
frozen
Frozen
cherries are
cherries are great.
wonderful.
Chocolate cherries.
Yeah, I've done with frozen cherries.
Okay.
You can get
Can't find
I'm
the
in
page I'm looking for.
coconut, virgin coconut daiquiri.
Girls, shh, he's taping and you're talking.
Didn't know.
Thank you. Somewhere in here, there should be a page, I hope, that gives you a bunch of ideas. Oh, there it is. Just saw it and I lost it again. Strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, blackberries, kiwis, mangoes, pineapple. They even give you some topping ideas. In this packet, that's also behind it in your big packet, is a beginner's guide to nice cream from Forks Over Knives. And then a few recipes that I gleaned from them and also from Virtual Vegan. There's a strawberry lemonade, a mint blueberry, caramelized pineapple. I want to try that one, it sounds really good. Strawberry chocolate, when you put little bits of chocolate in it. The chocolate one we just did. And then I found this one that I thought, boy, this would be really fun to try, but I'm not sure when I'm ever going to get around to it. It's super easy, banana peanut butter ice cream bars. So you have banana and peanut butter, and then you dip them in chocolate. After they're froze. And I thought, ooh, that would be something fancy and fun. I don't know how many of you just freeze bananas and dip them in chocolate, but that's good too. My teacher I used to work with, that was one of his favorite desserts, was they'd freeze bananas and then just dip them in chocolate, chocolate covered bananas. Frozen ones, but It's good. So anyhow, those are some ideas for something else that you can do as a dessert that's both good for you and tastes good. And if you will all, would you make sure everybody's got one of the packets, Montica? And we'll go on to the other part for tonight.
Would you do this sacrifice for all the
I'll come around for.
soldiers? Thank you.
For the soldiers?
I didn't want to go, he's filming, I didn't want to go behind Lori.
You can just hand it to me, I'll take it.
Thank you.
So you'll see when you open your packet that on one side you have the nice cream recipes and your recipe book for tonight. So this is what's on one side. And there are also a few other loose recipes behind, just oddball ones that I came across that sounded good, or maybe they're ones that I've used before that didn't get into the book. And there's one missing tonight, and that's my fault. Montica sent me hers yesterday, and I know I printed it out, but somehow it didn't get here with me tonight. So remind me on Sabbath, and I will give you her rib recipe and her sauce recipe. Because they aren't in the packet. They should have been, but that was my fault. And since my email pops up automatically on my computer, I don't have to remember what my password is, but if I try and do it here, I have to remember my password, and I haven't used it in so long, I don't remember it. So, runs into problems. On the other side of your packet, first you have some verses of a sheet that's just Bible verses about food. Some of what the Lord tells us about food. And I especially like the first one, which is 1 Corinthians 10:31, which is, whether therefore ye eat or drink or whatsoever you do, do all to the glory of God. You know, God has given us all these wonderful foods to eat. And if we learn to prepare them and eat them as we should be healthy and able to do whatever the Lord calls upon us to do. But that's a list just for you to think about. This second page is really interesting. How many times have you bought something, stuck it in your refrigerator in the veggie drawer, and then when you go back to use it, it's gone bad, or it's starting to spoil, or it's gotten all limp, or whatever. I learned something new, and I wanted to share it with you. Ethylene gas, which I know about. I keep my apples away from everything because they will ripen bananas like that if you put them next to each other. You cannot put them in the same bowl. Not if you don't want mushy bananas. So this explains which fruits and vegetables produce ethylene gas and which ones are very much affected by ethylene gas, which is a natural gas that the fruit gives off. I have learned that I cannot put my bin that has my potatoes in it and my bin that has my onions in it in the same cupboard, because they aren't good for each other. I figured that out finally. Now they're in separate rooms even. One's out in my pantry and one's in my kitchen.
So what do they do?
It makes the potatoes sprout and the onions go squishy.
Really?
And if you look on here, I'm trying to think, I think it's the potatoes. The other thing about potatoes is you always want to make sure you keep them in a dark place, because otherwise they'll turn green on the outside, and that green is really not good for you when they do that. But it says these create ethylene gas. Apples, apricots, avocados, ripening bananas, blueberries, cantaloupe, citrus fruit, not grapefruit, cranberries, figs, guavas, grapes, green onions, honeydew, and it goes on. And then it says which ones are damaged by that. So the ones that are damaged by it, you want to put them in a separate drawer in your refrigerator. Most of us have 2 drawers in our refrigerator. Put the ones that are tender and don't like other things upsetting them in the one drawer, and the ones that have ethylene gas, they're just going to ethylene each other. Or Or you could be like me, and if it's possible, you put them in 2 separate places and then they don't bother. But anyway, I found that really interesting when I found it, and I went, oh, that's cool, I wonder how many people know about this. I didn't. I mean, I knew about apples and bananas, but
With potted plants too.
yeah, yeah, kind of weird.
Yeah.
But anyway, for your reading and for you to learn, the next page that's in your packet is on natural sweeteners. And this is actually put out by the people who do agave, so there's a little more information in there about agave than anything else. But it does have the first section of it, which is actually the second page. It tells you, barley malt syrup, brown rice syrup, date sugar, fruit concentrates, honey, maple syrup, molasses, stevia, sucanate, all those things. It tells you about them, tells you what their, date sugar is high in fiber and it's rich in potassium and iron, so dates are good for you. So if you have recipes that call for dates, or if you can use dates in place of your brown sugar or in place of something else, that's a good thing to do. And then it tells you a whole bunch about agave. My husband uses agave in place of sugar in his hot drinks in the morning. In fact, we don't use a lot of sugar anymore. But it tells you how to replace these other liquids with agave instead. So that's why I said if you look at the little thing on the bottom, they're really into agave on this one. But it's, again, a good resource and good information if you're trying to get away from the refined sugars. The more refined something is, the less good it is for you. So